Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, July 20th, 2015. I'm Lafern Fraser with the details. Family and friends of the Johnsons of North Leeward turned out in their numbers on Sunday afternoon at the Spring Village Methodist School grounds to say farewell to the 3 Johnson relatives who were killed in a vehicular accident on June 28th in the Cools Hill area. SVG-TV's Sharon Garraway was there and filed this report.
It was a somber occasion yesterday, Sunday, July 19th, at the Spring Village Primary School grounds, where hundreds gathered to pay their respect to the 3 members of the Johnson family who were killed in a vehicular accident on June 28th at Coles Hill after returning from the funeral of another relative that same day. Some struggled to hold back their tears, while others were at their breaking point as the reality that 22-year-old Denzel Johnson, 65-year-old Venola Ilsilma Johnson, and 89-year-old George Johnson lay before them in caskets. Tributes from family members were heartfelt.
Always bring something, either for me or mommy. Sometimes he used to bring a bag of ginger and leave it on the table, and he would give mommy a kind of look. Oh, hurt, he cannot heal. For all
co-workers and others who knew the deceased well also expressed their grief.
He will have problem telling customers that something cannot be done. He will call me and say, Rana, I don't really like to tell customers that I can't do this, you know. You might have to tell them for me. That was the type of person Denzel was.
We met, I seen it in June 1996 in Barbados. And from then until December 2013, except for weekends and her annual holiday, she was a familiar face in our home.
Sometimes I call him Paji, which you know, Georgie Paji, little rhyme, Georgie Paji put it on pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. You know? So sometimes I say Paji. Next time I say GJ, which is George Johnson. How he used to be up in the mountain, myself and him, we call him the president at the mountain.
Bishop Ashton of the Spiritual Baptist Church reminded the gathering that the death of the 3 relatives was a reminder that death can come at any age or stage of life, and that it was important to be ready to meet the Maker.
Let us set our houses in order. Our power ranger, we will die, and we will never live. I want you to accept the message today. The message is not for the 3. The message is for all of us to set our houses. I don't mean the house you're living in. Come on, church. I say I'm not talking about that earthly house that you're living in.
Your soul, your soul.
I am talking about our soul. Let us make sure that our soul is right with Almighty God. When we departed this life, we want to live after death. Cometh judgment.
Despite the anguish over their deaths, the celebration of the lives of the 3 Johnson family members permeated throughout the village at the funeral procession, where the 3 were taken to their final resting place at the cemetery. Sharon Garraway, SVG Television News.
And the leaders of the various political parties here who attended the funeral expressed comforting words to the bereaved.
To say thanks to Almighty God for giving us these 3 persons, for having them among us, and for us to be able to gather as Christians to thank Him for their lives and to celebrate their lives.
To the Johnson family, I say to them, I wish them the best of everything, despite their grief. And I know that the same Lord who has been involved all along, will continue to be involved in your lives as long as you let him. And when that is finished, you will all find the peace that all of us are looking for.
We who are alive and remain, it is for us to take this moment where we grieve the loss of loved ones to consider that we who are alive, we can praise God. And so my admonition to you all is to take the counsel of the wise man Solomon in the book of Ecclesiastes.
Member of Parliament for North Leeward, Roland Patel Matthews, as well as the Unity Labour Party's candidate in the upcoming general elections for that area, Carlos James, called on the residents to continue to give the grieving family their support.
It was indeed shocking to all of us. But today, I know that the Johnson family will continue to comfort each other. And as speakers before me said, that the community of North Leeward, as well as the wider community, will continue to lend their comfort as well, will continue to be with them as we encourage them to go from strength to strength.
Continue to show that Spring Village and North Leeward, we are a community and a constituency who cares, and naturally we will continue to support the Johnson's family in their time of bereavement. I want to also say to the family that I am here personally to lend my support and to continue being there for you in this tragic time.
And the family, friends, members of the legal fraternity and the SVG Human Rights Association and others will on Wednesday this week pay their last respects to a stalwart, Nicole Sylvester, who passed away last month. The funeral service is expected to be held at the Roman Catholic Church. SVG-TV News understands that a special session at the High Court is also expected to be held on Wednesday morning, where members of the legal fraternity are expected to pay tribute. In an earlier interview with SVG-TV News, President of the SVG Bar Association, Renee Batiste, says Sylvester was deeply committed to her profession, and her contribution to the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS Bar Association, helped to establish the Law Conference. Batiste, who is also Speaker of the OECS Assembly, says Sylvester will be greatly missed.
As far as the profession otherwise is concerned, she was very very committed to this profession, and she became president of the bar, and she was quite assertive in carrying out her duties in that particular regard. I'm sure St. Vincent and Grenadines remembers her advocacy and dealing with human rights, and she was president of that organization as well up to the time of her passing. She served as a president of the OECS Bar Association, and it was under her tenure that the lawfare, she can conceptualize the lawfare for the OECS Bar Associations, and it is now being transformed after taking control of it for 9 consecutive sessions. It has now been transformed to the OECS Law Conference.
Also sounding praises for Sylvester's work ethic is close friend and fellow attorney Kay Bacchus Brown. The solicitor says Sylvester's devotion to ensuring that the rights of Vincentians are upheld was remarkable.
Nicole was dedicated to her clients, dedicated to the profession, and she did it in a professional manner. You know, wanted to always put her best foot forward, because we have worked on several cases together. Of course, the political ones, which we have done simply because of our love of country. It was not that we were being rewarded financially, and I can tell you that Nicole had dedicated a lot of her time and energy doing work pro bono, means without pay, whether it was the human rights perspective or from the political perspective or from looking after women's rights. She gave a lot of time to pro bono work. In fact, she was president of the Human Rights Association, and that was largely a pro bono job, doing it out of the love of nation. Nicole loved St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and she did make a contribution. So I think she remembered for her legal work as well as her activist work, social activist work for women's rights, and generally the rights of citizens, St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has put forward the position that St. Vincent and the Grenadines cannot have a first-class international airport without first-class seaports. The Prime Minister made the statement while speaking to residents of North Windward on Friday, July 17th, where 48 housing lots of lands and 3 houses were handed over to Sandy Bay residents at Noel. Dr. Gonsalves says SVG is in need of a new seaport since the Kingstown port is over 60 years old and the Camden Park port was poorly constructed.
I went to the Caribbean Development Bank. I got money to do the first part of the study. Examine to see whether I could move it down to Bottom Tongue area. And then, when we got that study, they showed that the best option down there would be 100 million US. I asked the CDB to give us an extension for this study for our guy, for Israel, and they just approved that. Matt McDonald of Canada, that firm is doing the study. Before we go to the polls, we should be able to get that second part of the study done, so I can tell you where I'm going to build a new port. Notice, you know, I'm talking about international airport and a new seaport. Because a small country, in order to develop, you have to have first-class infrastructure linking you by air and by sea.
Peter Williams, Managing Director of Emira Limited, the company that is partnering with this country's government and Reykjavik to produce geothermal energy from the Lasu Frere volcano, says they will be putting the necessary security measures in place during and after the construction of the plant. Williams, who was addressing persons at the Chamber of Commerce session on energy on Friday, says while he is aware that there will be mischievous individuals who may want to destroy the plant, his company will ensure it is protected.
You know, electric network is vulnerable, and certainly that's been the experience in other countries where they have, you know, insurrection and riots and places, you know, in Trinidad. Certainly when I was there, the situations where people had gone along with saws and started cutting down poles, not suggesting that's a good idea for anyone to try. But I would say the plant itself will be secure from any idle mischief. So that, you know, people won't be able to just walk on and do things. It will be secure in terms of substations from a safety point of view. So it will be no more vulnerable from that point of view than existing operations.
He says if for some other reason the plant has to be halted, emergency arrangements will be made to ensure that the fuel station is properly utilized.
Reason. It may not be an eruption, it may be a technical problem. So that's the conversations again we will have with VINLEC to ensure that they don't, you know, it wouldn't be necessarily a situation where they just take out all their diesel plant. I don't think that would be the intent, but have them ready. And also in terms of fuel deliveries and fuel supplies, you know, there would be much less fuel demand, so we need to have the contingency fuel arrangements that if geothermal plant needs to shut down for whatever reason, that we can step up fuel supplies to the island without compromising the reliability of supply. So these are details and discussions that will take place.
A training workshop on surveillance of hospital-associated infections, antimicrobial resistance will be held here tomorrow. The workshop, to be held at the Methodist Church Hall from 8:30 a.m., is a collaborative effort of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO. One of the aims of the workshop is to increase the knowledge of healthcare professionals and build capacity in the surveillance of healthcare-associated infections and antimicrobial resistance. The workshop is also designed to strengthen the functioning of infection control teams to guide and institute hygiene and other disease prevention measures. It will further assist the local medical system in being able to detect clustering in time and space of infections. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is among 120 nations participating in the 2015 Global Peace Road Tour and will this Thursday hold a peace march and rally in Kingstown. Speaking to members of the media earlier today, representative of the organizing team of the local peace march and rally, K. Bacchus Brown, says the July 23rd march will commence at 3 p.m. at the courthouse in Kingstown.
The Universal Peace Federation, which was founded by Reverend Saul Manloon, has embarked upon a peace road tour with the aim to inherit the peace ideal of God. This peace road tour is being held for 93 days around the world in 120 nations of the world. It began on May 30th and will conclude on August 30th, 2015. Each nation would choose their own theme. We in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have chosen the theme Stop Violence, Choose Peace. And we would march uptown to Heritage Square, down Bay Street to Higginson Street, back up Back Street, and we will culminate in a little peace rally at the Boys Grammar School pasture. The police, they have given us the permission already, and they would be providing outriders. We hope to have some cyclists just follow the march. Churches, political organizations. The Prime Minister would not be here, but he would be sending someone to address the rally. The Honorable Leader of the Opposition would also be addressing the rally, and some other political parties.
Bacchus Brown is urging the public to wear a white t-shirt to the event.
We have some t-shirts that we would be able to distribute through the crowd, but unfortunately the budget does not allow us to give everybody a t-shirt, so we would see how that would go. We have some flags that we would ask persons to hold. The banner you see behind me would be the banner that we'll be carrying in front of the march, and that banner has been used in 120 nations of the world, all over, all the states in the United States, Europe, Middle East, Central America, all over. This is a universal banner that we have been using. So the purpose here, I'm inviting the general public to come out and support the march. Every country has a different theme. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I'm sure you will agree that our theme, Stop Violence, it's an all-embracing theme. Violence in any description, we're aiming to choose peace. Our message is positive, that peace is an option that we can choose. And once we choose peace, we should be able to build strong families, a strong nation, a strong society, a strong cosmos.
In relation, Junior Bacchus, also a member of the Peace Road March organizing team, says peace is an ideal all should strive to accomplish.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines, over the recent past, has been experiencing all kinds of violence. Domestic violence, emotional abuse. We also have a lot of murders, and we are entering what we consider to be the election season. And it is anticipated that during this time people get very intolerant of others when it comes to their political support. Families get divided. We have a lot of mudslinging even in the campaigns, and that sometimes could lead people to engage in acts of violence. And the Universal Peace Federation is saying that we should be able to avoid those types of experience. We should recognize that we got to be tolerant.
The Layou Heritage and Tourism Organization and the National Parks, Rivers, Beaches Authority last Friday brought to a close its 4th annual summer program. The week-long program, which accommodated both males and females, was held under the theme Your Health is Your Wealth. The Central Leeward Area Representative Maxwell Charles challenged the youth to put into practice what they would have learned over the duration of the program.
Because it will do you no good coming here, learning so many nice things, so many valuable lessons, and you go home to your communities and to your homes to do the same old thing. But the seminar that you would have attended during the past days, when you go back home to your communities and to your schools, let persons, your mothers, your fathers, your peers, let them see a change in you. And when they question you, then you'll have the opportunity to explain to them the valuable lessons that you would have learned during the past days.
And representative of the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority, Andrew Wilson, says a tremendous amount of planning goes into the program, which has led to it evolving year after year.
So I want to actually thank the students, the participants who participated in the program this year, particularly thank the parents for allowing you to attend. We did not just see it as an opportunity for you just to have a week where you could have some time to be away from home, but we thought it would have been a valuable learning experience for you. We always emphasize that the summer program here at the Leu Heritage Park is a bit different from other summer programs that are undertaken in other parts during this particular time, in that what we're seeking to do is to build really good citizens, but citizens who are also conscious of the importance of our environment and the importance it will play in your overall well-being. And this year we had a very excellent theme, your health is your wealth, and very often many aspects of our environment, our health of our forests, health of our rivers, health of our beaches, has a direct role to play in the quality of our lives that we maintain.
Former area representative Sir Louis Straker says he is impressed with the quality of the program and commended the students on their discipline in attending the workshop fully for an entire week.
And I have no doubt that if you extend the program to 2 weeks, that the wherewithal, the finances would be there to make the program a success. As a matter of fact, if you put a little bit more effort into it, you may have to do 2 sessions. You may have to do one group and then another group. There are people in the community here who I know would be glad to contribute to the program. And I would want to drop just one name, a very good friend of mine who I know would love to, would commit herself to it. That's Miss Helen St. Hill.